Hi, it's Isabel, A Curious Tale. Welcome back to my channel. Last video I shared the first part of making a mini upcycled collection for my brand Clove Moon, and today I want to share with you my finished pieces. I'll keep this brief because I think the main point is just to share what I made and see what you think. I'll show some clips of the garments and then just chat about how the experience was. I'm wearing one waistcoat from the collection today. This is the only one that I did two of, although they're not exactly the same as each other, and then every other piece is completely different. I also added this goat brooch that I made a few years ago in Nepal, and I thought that it fitted. So yeah, please join me in seeing what I made. I hope you find it inspiring if you're thinking of using patches or printing in your own upcycling or sewing. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. Starting off, I have this purple 100% cotton vintage shirt that I got at a local rummage sale. I just really loved the colour and I covered it in the patches my mum and I made. I chose red thread because I really love red and purple together, and I'm really pleased with how this one turned out. I'm filming these pieces in the garden of my family, so there's also some beautiful sunflowers out. This is a vintage shirt. I dyed purple a while ago and I just hadn't found a way to make it work, and I really love how it looks now with the patches on it, especially the butterflies. And for this one I chose a metallic black thread because I think it went well with the purple. Funnily enough, the buttons actually got dyed a little bit as well when I dyed the shirt, so I think it looks really interesting, and I sort of envisage this being worn either as a sleeveless shirt or more so as a waistcoat. Then on the back of the garments or in different places I sewed my brand's label, and I like having the label on the outside because I think it just adds an interesting touch. There we see a little Nepali flag and a pond, and also an interesting pond dweller. Next off, we're going to be going into a check dress, and the main part of this is actually an applique that I'd sewn a very long time ago onto a cropped hemp top, but that's not something I would really wear, especially in the colder weather here. So I put that as sort of the centerpiece on the dress, and I really like how that turned out because I think it balances well with the massive collar. And then we have some other patches I sewed on in a burgundy thread, like this snake and this horse. Then I think for the collection I didn't want to overdo it with the patches, but I wanted to create quite an eclectic feel, so hopefully that's translated. We then have this shirt. It's got very fine stripes, and I just popped the patches on one segment of the shirt to give a slightly more minimalist look, and I really enjoy how the metallic thread is shining in the sunshine. You can see I did quite a rustic hand sewing method to sew the patches on, and I wanted it to have the threads and the stitching as a part of the garment, like as a design feature rather than it being invisible. So that was my thought process behind that. Next we have a very simple top, and I wanted to highlight this beautiful peacock print, and then I just added a tiny little flower at the top, again choosing this sort of reddish burgundy thread to make the stitching itself part of the design. I envisage this being worn over the top of a stripy t-shirt or maybe layered over a dress because I really like how layering looks. I wanted to show some more snapshots of the garden. And then this is quite a simple dress, and I envisaged the parasol print on the front almost like a tattoo, and then just had the other patches on the bottom of the dress there. again, this is something I envisage being worn with a big scarf, some waistcoats, lots of layering for the autumn season. And I really like the juxtaposition of the more classic British sort of, this is a tiny check print, and then the prints with traditional imagery from Nepal. I really enjoy that contrast. And speaking of Nepal, there's some saipatri or marigolds. Then this is an overall dress, something I dyed black a long time ago, and then again still hadn't quite finished it, so I think it really brings it to life by adding these patches. My favourite is perhaps the feet, and I have the butterfly on a floral fabric as well that I think just adds a nice touch, again with the burgundy thread, because I think that's, well, classic colour for autumn and just adds a hint of colour. This skirt was a thrift find in a charity shop, and I wanted to add more patches here because I think the sort of rustic look of the skirt goes with a more eclectic patch look, again with the burgundy thread to really emphasize the stitching. I really like how this turns out. I've already worn this, and this has already become a beloved part of my wardrobe. You can see it was just enough wind to show the clothes on that day. Some beautiful autumn sun. And then we have two waistcoats. I'd actually had them made in Nepal for my brand Clove Moon when I was retailing it there, but I wasn't quite satisfied with them. I thought they needed something extra, and it turns out I think what they needed was some patches. So this is made from suiting shirt fabric from Nepal, and then the buttons as well are from Nepal, the lining, everything had it made there. And then these patches, I think, just bring it to life. This suit has been in quite a few videos because I took the skirt in and then I dyed it black, and now it's finally complete with these patches, which I think again just really plays up the more rustic feel of the suit because of that heavy cotton and the subtle stripe pattern. And some of the patches were printed on denim from jeans that I shortened, and then the rest it was all printed on fabric offcuts, so it's, you know, so there's no waste involved. Here I chose a charcoal thread again to play up the sort of muted nature of the suit, and I really love how this one turned out as well. I'll have to think how best to style it, but maybe with the stripy t-shirt just to keep the casual feel going. Thank you for having a look at my creations. If you enjoyed it, I'm definitely planning to make some more upcycled collections in the future. And as for if you want to buy anything from the collection, or out of it I should say, the pieces that I've become willing to part with, they're on my Depop, and I will add a link to how you can find them in the description of this video, and I will also share on my Instagrams, and they will be also linked in the description. Please feel free to like and subscribe if you enjoyed my content, and I hope to see you again. Hope you have a good day. Bye!